Hey YouTube, I'm Jerry Lowlife, and welcome to another episode of the entertainment industry. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the entertainment industry, season 1, episode 7. This was an interview with Chris Gomez. He's a guitar player for a band called Perseus. We did this interview and it was absolutely a pleasure having him on my show. Like I said, he's a guitar player for Perseus. They've done tours throughout the United States and he's here from Oklahoma City. So stick around, check it out, see what you guys think. And at the end of the video, I'll have links to all of their socials, including my own. And if you guys are wanting to interact with this and see these interviews live, I do them every Friday on Facebook at Jerry Lowlife Interviews at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, let's get to the video. What was the one thing, from the beginning that made you go and want to play music? What was that? Usually there typically is that one thing that sparks that flame. What was it for you?
It started with my best friend listening to the radio, and Guns N' Roses came on, and we listened to "Take Me Down to the Paradise City where the grass is green and girls are pretty."
Heck yeah!
That radio. And then we liked the guitar sound, and then Metallica would come on the radio, and we totally dug it. And then that got me interested in rock and roll and heavier music. And then in sixth grade, I grew up in San Antonio, in music school. We each had a guitar in music class. School issued guitar, acoustic guitar, and that's when I was introduced to guitar in sixth grade.
Okay.
Really interested in the guitar. I loved playing it, instantly fell in love with it. And then I found out that my dad also had a guitar stage when he was a young kid. And I learned that both my grandparents, both my grandfathers on both sides of my family were both active musicians. Growing up. They played guitars, they played accordion, they played in bar bands. So it's in my blood, I guess.
Sounds like it. So you've had a little bit of an influence there with family in general too. So family actively active in music as well. I was the same way. It was more or less my sister, and she was a violinist. So that was kind of my influence too. She listened to a lot of old school rock too, Led Zeppelin, Kiss, those type of things too. So that was what was very sparkative to me. Like, it ignited that for me. So I guess jumping to the next question, are there any musicians who inspire you, and what qualities do you admire about them? And I know you just mentioned Guns N' Roses. Was Slash an inspiration to you?
And definitely in the beginning, it was the first inspiration, but it quickly jumped to James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett, and then I got involved real heavily in Metallica and started learning their songs, and also Kurt Cobain.
Nice.
Middle school Nirvana was huge.
Yeah.
All their songs were easy, but also were fun to play and everything. So
absolutely.
All the alternative music that happened in the early '90s is where I started, and then quickly progressed as I got older. Slipknot and Fear Factory and all the heavy stuff started coming. So
right. Yeah, so you actively started getting into heavier. It sounds like heavier and heavier music. So that's kind of what happened to me as well. So I can relate to that as a lot. And actually, Metallica was probably the first thing that really ignited a lot for me as well. So that's cool. It's really good to hear like common ground, and you can literally hear it from so many people. Like bands like Pantera, Metallica, and all these guys have influenced so many people. It's unbelievable. It's pretty awesome. So very cool. What qualities did you admire about them the most?
Really, it's the fuck you attitude they have. I liked like the no rules involved in music is like, or metal, like metal especially is like, this is my way and fuck everyone else you gravitated towards. And the music is just, I'm not an aggressive person,
Mhm.
but the music is just like an outlet. I love aggressive music. It just suits me.
Right.
It's like a conduit to get out aggression, so I don't have to be aggressive, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, that was a big thing for me playing drums and heavy drums. You know, it was is basically a way to outlet without hurting anybody or myself. So um, yeah, I can relate to that. That's cool. Nice. Um, so what do you like most about playing music? What's your favorite thing about it?
um, right now, because it's changed over the years. I've been playing music in bands since the age of 18, and I'm 38 now. So at this stage, it's my identity. I chose this to have this identity.
Mhm.
The musician, a guitar player. Um, to me, I've had one of the most amazing experiences playing live music, especially I can think of a few times where the crowd is cheering and the you're playing perfect and it sounds so good.
Yeah.
You get these goosebumps.
Yeah.
It's I've never had that feeling doing anything else. So I'm always searching for that next time I'll have that feeling. And it's always, a bigger show, a bigger stage, bigger crowd.
Yeah.
I'm always searching for that.
So do you have any like we kind of hit it up a little bit about you mountain biking and doing those type of things. Do you have any other hobbies or interests outside of music other than just mountain biking?
Yeah, I just got into gardening, so I built a raised garden, and we're trying to plant some food here.
Okay.
Chicken, I like to raise chickens and collect the eggs and stuff like that, and
That's cool.
hands-on. So I'm always in the garage building stuff. I just built an amp, or I assembled an amp. I took an old combo amp,
Uh-huh.
split it in half, and I made it into an actual 100-watt head unit that I'm going to use on stage. So
Whoa, that is awesome. Nice. Is it okay? It's tubed and everything, huh?
yeah, it's an old B52 100-watt combo amp.
Okay.
I just chopped the speakers off and made it a head unit because I want to use my Mesa cab for it.
Wow.
It's 100 tubes. I mean, you see this little thing is a trans tube. These little guys.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they work and it sounds okay, but it doesn't compare to a 100-watt tube head.
Right.
So I like the tone, man. Thick tone that
Gotcha.
feel the wall sound coming at you from. So
Yeah. Everybody has their own little signature thing that they're used to. And, I've noticed that too through the industry and working with many musicians. And again, I was a drum tech and stage manager. Guitars, I kind of learned a lot about them, mainly because touring and being in bands and being around it a lot, is definitely not my expertise, that's for sure. But, when you're around it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for years, you can't help but learn a little bit about them. So it was very cool learning all that and you expressing the fact that tube sounds are a lot different than if you have something emulated like a Kemper or a fractal amp or just using straight effects through that way too. Yeah, absolutely.
with the emulated sounds, a lot of the new bands are going that route.
Yeah.
You won't see a tube head on their stage. You'll see a Kemper.
Yep.
They have good quality in ears
Yep.
and I guess that works for them. But I guess we don't have the money to have a nice in-ear monitor setup, so
Right.
we still we still go through the analog tube style way.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. And there's a lot of bands that prefer that. I know some bands, that I've worked with, they'll use things like Kempers, and they'll mainly use them because it kind of fits their sound more in that sense. But not only that, it's you go overseas and you have to purchase and rent backline, because it's cheaper to rent in other places than to fly all your gear out there, so to save costs too, I've seen a lot of guitarists, they'll literally, just for safekeeping too, they'll just have like their Kemper. And if you guys that are watching not familiar with what we're talking about, it's like a rack mountable, or you can get them like a tabletop, and they're literally not even like 6 to 8 inches tall and pretty much like 24 inches wide in that sense. And they fit in a rack space that you can take, and then like you can literally carry it on with you on an airplane. And it's that sensibility of being secure about, hey, my stuff is safe and it's always going to be at the gig with me. So it's pretty awesome. So when you are writing things with Perseus and you guys are together doing like new songs and things like that, describe your creative process when you write new music. What do you guys have like a thing you guys go by all the time, or is there just, is it just sporadic? Does it just happen? What do you guys do?
Well, here in the past 2 years, the band lost its primary songwriter.
Oh, wow.
I'm playing a different role than I ever have, and musically, I've always been a supporting rhythm guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
Here in the past 2 years, I had to step up and become a songwriter, and so our last two singles are songs that I wrote. I wrote 90% of them, and then the band comes in and tweaks it and adds stuff. And me and Jordan, the drummer, we're the primary songwriters. We'll take a riff,
Mm-hmm.
one riff. I'll present the guys with a whole slew of riffs that I think is a song, and find out it's not a song, but the guys like one part of this riff. So I'll take that one riff and then run with it, make a whole music piece out of it.
Okay.
And once it's tweaked, everyone likes the song. Jordan will add some drums, and then very last, Jeremy will come in and write a lyric theme for it. And we keep hashing it out right here. This is my little area where I work. I just got a laptop, and we just put the little scratch tracks in here.
Okay.
And when we have it jammed out, we have exactly how it sounds, how we're ready to present it, we'll go record it with CJ Cochran in Tulsa.
Okay.
Band Outline and Color. So and he has a Kemper, so it starts with a Mesa head sound, and all of a sudden we go to record, and all that sounds ran through the Kemper, and so it might change the tone a little bit, but it sounds great, man. So
yeah, sometimes that's what you got to do and go for sometimes, and to get a song together and record it properly in ways at a certain studio, because every studio is different, and that's the process there specifically with him, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's how it works. The price is right with CJ, and the work just sounds excellent.
Okay.
So yeah, we just go there.
Awesome. Cool. Right on. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to give him a shout out, so people know what you're talking about. Is he public? Like, does he do recordings with anybody?
I've never seen him advertise anywhere that he does studio work, but it's really been word of mouth with CJ. But really, if you're friends with him on Facebook, he'll advertise on his Facebook. Hey, I'm looking for some,
okay,
the song, come to me.
Okay.
But a lot of people don't realize that how good the sound is. Like it's professional quality recording sound. So
Cool.
that's CJ Cochran out of Tulsa, from the band Outline and Color. So
Awesome.
for work, yeah, that's the guy.
Okay. Cool. Nice. Give a shout out to him then. Awesome. Um, okay. So that kind of describes you guys' creative process and looking at you since you lost a member and then you taking on a new role to write music and get involved in that way as well. And it seems like you guys write songs around the actual material, lyric wise. Lyrics come in later, it seems like, correct?
Yeah, lyrics come in last.
Okay.
Except this very last single is called Descent,
Hmm.
and I named the song before I wrote the riff. Before I wrote the first line for it, I had the song title ready,
Okay.
and it's called Descent. I felt during the time we were in, it was right during the middle of the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol.
Hmm.
But if you remember that time, we were just in the middle of COVID. The election was looming, and the country was just about to rip each other apart.
Gotcha.
And I felt this place is going through a clear descent. It's fucking, I guess, write a song about it.
Okay.
So, so
Okay.
when the lyrics came, the song wasn't about, you know, the descent of a world. It was about Jeremy took it another direction. What if this? What if the guy in this world was totally fucked, and there was no hope, and there's a fire in the distance that's growing? I was like, that's perfect. Sounds like a badass metal song. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's written from that perspective.
If someone was new watching and they were um, wanting to become a guitar player or a musician at any cost, what strengths do you have that you believe make you a great musician? What are your strengths?
Resilience. You know, I might lose the first few times when I do something, but I play till I win. And anything.
Okay.
And it goes for playing guitar. You're gonna suck when you first start. That's just being honest. You're not gonna be as good as you want to be when you first start. But you just keep showing up, keep practicing, pick the guitar up again the next day, take a break off, a day off, grab it the following day. You know, just if you really love something, you really want it, no one's gonna keep you from getting good at it. It's all up to you. And that goes for everything, and not just music, but everything.
Yeah, life in general. Absolutely. You know, the minute you feel like you know everything, you're not living. You know, you gotta live life and always learn new things constantly. And because if you're not learning, you're definitely not living. So, what is it about music that makes you feel passionate? Like, is there a specific thing? You know, you're talking about earlier how you're chasing those goosebumps and those type of things. So, I figured that kind of answers some things, maybe something that we haven't touched base with, that you've talked about so far. Is there any other specific things that make you feel passionate about music?
Um, well, it kind of boils down to passion for 99% of all musicians, because there's only like 1% of every musician that makes it to be self-sustained, a rich, famous musician. Everyone else has to do it for passion. Because
Right.
I have a real job, I have a 9 to 5 job, and that's my main source of income.
Yep.
Of course, the dream is to have a life supported by what you love to do, which is making music, playing music. Um, so for me, it's I do it for passion. You know, I love playing. I love that there's a group of guys that come together as a team and make a song and perform it, and other people enjoy it.
Right.
It's like a whole world is clicking at that moment. It's fun, and we get to drink and hang out and party and have fun. So that's a bonus.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the ultimate goal is always to do something you love and it gets you by or even gets you living through life, you know. So But they always say, and the thing I'm sure everyone's heard is, if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. So that's the ultimate dream. Describe your favorite and least favorite part about being a musician.
Least favorite part, well, out of experience, man. Been doing this a long time now, and the worst parts have been dealing with a sour team member or someone that used to have passion for the band. At one point, now they lost it, or they gave it to something else, and just inner turmoil within bands is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's definitely been the worst. It's been the worst part of being in a group with people. And when you're dealing with people, emotions come up. And a lot of times, someone that's your best friend at one moment can now be your worst enemy. And if you've ever been married, you know what I'm talking about. So I've been married, and it started out great, ended terribly. And I've been in a band that started out great, ended terribly. They're very similar. So you get to learn your buddies just as you would get to learn your wife.
Right.
You're intimate with them. You know what what they love. You know what they hate. And so the worst part of being in a band has been dealing with toxic band members. So, and we've been through a lot with that. We've been attacked. We've been slandered.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been bad, but it's temporary. We got through it, and we moved on. So that's part of life. So the best part of being in a band is probably the community and having your buddies, and also the community of the people who love music come out and hang out with y'all, and it's fun. It's just fun.
Yeah. I can agree with all that. It is a big part of getting to know the people that are involved in a project and band with you, because I even had a small sliver of that on a huge regular basis. Being out, not like your regular job where you clock in at 8 a.m. and then you clock out at work 9 to 5, come home, whatever. It's like I would clock in spring, and I wouldn't clock out until like November. So we're not the butt and freaking a bus, forever, and planes and everything. And you can't get away from these guys, and you're there, you know what I mean? And so they literally become family, and their problems become your problems. And you got to be supportive or smart and decisive of how you go through your day, and it's a big thing. It's unlike any other job or business I can think of, because you don't get a break from it, and if you call in, sometimes the shows don't happen unless you have a good person to fill in to do it. So describe your favorite venue for performing.
Well, right now, the Diamond Ballroom. I love that stage. The monitor sounds so awesome. I love the Diamond Ballroom. My favorite stage experience was in Florida. We drove out to Florida and played a few shows. It's like they had this Facebook group, the East Coast Metal Alliance.
Okay.
Put together by people who love metal, who live all along the East Coast.
Yeah.
And they paid for us to come out to Florida. They booked us a few shows, and when we got to Florida, they had a packed venue for us. It was fucking awesome.
That is awesome.
It was great, and we had a great time.
Did you guys do multiple shows there, or was it just one single show?
We played a show on the way in Louisiana, and then we played one show in Fort Walton Beach in Florida.
Okay.
And it was fucking awesome. I wish it would happen again.
Yeah.
That was right before COVID. And once COVID hit, everything kind of went to shit. So if it happens again, we'll be there.
Yeah. It definitely impacted a lot of people, that's for sure. So, I knew a couple hundred of people that had no jobs for like almost 2 years. It was crazy, insane. So, yeah.
We had a great experience in California. The year before we went to Florida, we went out to California, and there was a online radio program called Honest Brutality. I think they're still going.
Okay.
They invited us to come co-headline in a northern city in California. I forgot the name of it. Real close to the redwood forest. So,
oh wow, okay.
We drove out there. We played a show in San Jose, and then the next day we played in that city. And we played outdoors. California's got the best weather. I mean, it might have been 75 degrees.
Yeah.
Beautiful park, redwoods around you.
Right.
There was a bunch of bands, and we got to co-headline, and it was fun.
That's awesome. Nice. Heck yeah, man. I didn't know how far you guys extended out, but that's pretty awesome. I never knew you guys did shows out in Cali and went out to Florida as well. Louisiana too. Nice, man. Which skills have you gained that helped you perform effectively as a musician? Like what are some skills that you've gained over time that's helped you out a lot?
Well, besides the technical guitar playing stuff, I used to have stage fright. I used to be real shy on stage, and I used to not move. I was just standing there.
Yeah.
So I grew out of that. I grew out of that over time. So now I like to perform, man. I like to get after it and go nuts. I used to go more nuts than I am now, but I'm getting older, so.
I hear that.
It's all about your right hand. If you can chunk, you can hit your chugs right. You got a good right hand, you can nail them chugs.
Okay.
In sync with the bass drum, get a nice chunk going. So that's what gets the crowd moving there, is some good chunks. But
yeah.
I learned how to sweep maybe 10 years ago, and got my taps going.
Yeah.
So technically, I'm not the best guitar player, but I'm the best at being Chris Gomez guitar player.
I tease a little bit sometimes. Like I'll have conversations with people and I'll be like, so what's something that's made you very valuable as a musician on the road? And one guy was like, man, I might be a bass player for this band, but I'm also a mechanic. So if our bus or something breaks down, I can usually fix it. So there's usually somebody that like has something outside that contributes to the band as well. Like one being like, hey, they know a lot about like front of house stuff and sound, or someone's, like I said, like they're a mechanic, or it has to do with like networking and they're just like really good with like computers and programs as in general. There's just like so many things that can contribute to just getting a performance done, or even just writing music. It's so crazy how much stuff's involved. But tell me about your favorite performance in your career. Do you have a favorite performance that you did?
Yeah, first one comes to mind. This was back when Perseus was still kind of new. And, we entered a contest with the Cat Radio.
Okay.
Winner of the contest would open Cat Fest that year.
Okay.
And we had made it to the finals. There was 3 stages, and we made it to the 3rd stage. And at that show, all of us went balls to the wall on selling tickets and getting the crowd to come out. And
nice.
So when we played, we had a full crowd, and they were chanting our name. And I just remember that was the first time I had that feeling, man, the goosebumps. And that was my favorite performance.
Awesome.
It was that Bricktown Live, the old Bricktown Live, Oklahoma City.
Oh yeah, I remember Bricktown Live, man. Heck yeah. There was some scary moments there, actually. Like I remember feeling the actual, like the second story. If you got up there, you could literally feel the floor kind of like trampolining. I was like, man, this thing's gonna fall through someday. And luckily that never happened with any concert or show there. So that's a good thing. Describe your worst performance and what did you learn from this experience?
Worst performance, in Tulsa. We played at the Blackbird on Pearl venue in Tulsa, and man, we stunk it up, man. I think we were all a little bit too drunk. That's probably what happened. But we got in a fight with the sound guy. He was yelling at us, and we were yelling at him. And it ended with me telling that sound guy, like, "Hey, man, if we ever do a show and you're the sound guy, we are leaving. We are not going to do the show."
Wow.
Just letting you know. I've never been yelled at by a sound guy for something stupid. It wasn't even a reason to be yelled at. And we were also we drank too much anyway, so
right.
Just bad. It was a bad experience. And on the way home, my trailer with all their band stuff, I hit something and the fender fell off.
Oh man.
I hit a curb. Yeah, it was a bad night.
Just one of those days. Yeah. I think we're all kind of guilty of those times, you know, where we're just like, what were we doing? What were we thinking? Like, yeah, and then you mix that in there and it's not a good combination, that's for sure. Do you remember exactly what the sound guy was talking about? Like, do you remember it all? Like what it was about?
He got angry during sound check. Our singer Jeremy was checking the mic. Jeremy was being totally cool and said, you know,
yeah,
I'm checking my it's a wireless mic.
Yeah.
And the sound guy was like, "You should have told me you were going to use a wireless mic tonight. You lied to me." Like, what are you talking about? Like,
whoa.
Like, you're supposed to tell me before you play that you have a wireless mic. He was making a mountain out of an anthill, I guess, what they say. But
just hating life. Sound like he was hating life at the moment. Jeez. Wow. Yeah, I mean, you're never gonna get through a day being that way towards anyone. You know, one of my favorite things I used to do, Chris, on tour was, so Fear Factory hardly had a full trailer ever, because the only thing that we had a huge amount of was a drum kit. That was it. So, and we used, you know, stuff like Kempers, and you know, with the bass, it was all just direct. So the bass and guitar rig was literally in a 6-space rack. That was it. And then the drum kit, you know, was like 5 auxiliary hi-hats, 2 kick drums, double China, double crash, double everything. It was insane. And then like I had a whole computer rack and mixer and all kinds. We called it like the Death Star because it controlled everything. And so anyways, moving and hooking all that stuff around, it's a lot of stuff for drums. But you open the back trailer and you don't see, like, you can see the floor of the trailer. Like there's like nothing escalating up high. Like we had a hard time just covering the floor. So I would make it seem like I was going to be like a complete dick. I was like talking to the stagehands, like, gonna hate your life. We got so much gear. It's gonna be stupid. Just for warning you, blah, 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 you know, and then we'd go outside and then like we'd lower the like, the door, and they'd see inside and be like, "Man, what? You're lying to us, dude." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, it's gonna be the most badass day. You're gonna have fun." And I mean, dude, look at this. There's nothing here. You know, I'm gonna be your favorite guy you've ever talked to. Let's just high fives all day. We're gonna have fun and like change it around. You know what I mean? Like, I would, and the moral of the story is, I would just try to play that part to be. It's very hard for me to be an asshole, and but I tried to do that. And then I would turn it around and just be like, "Come on, guys, we're just gonna have a good time. There's nothing here. Let's have fun," you know. Because the thing I learned was nothing ever gets accomplished when you're angry and you're just trying to make things more difficult than they are. If you put a smile on your face and just suck it up and just try to be the best person and respect people the way you want to be respected, a lot of things get done a lot better at the end of the day. You know, and I don't know how many times I would come across other individuals at venues across the world that just seemed like they just hated life. I'm like, dude, why are you guys even here? Why are you working and doing this job if you're just so angry? You know, anyways, I can go off on a rant. I always was the softener. I'd always soften things up.
I'm usually the softener myself. I'm usually that guy.
Are you? Nice, nice. Gotta have us in there, because if you don't, trouble just it gets out of control. So
I got a number 2 bad show. Frickin' in Tulsa, we opened up for Carnifex, right?
okay, I knew Carnifex is awesome.
This story doesn't involve Carnifex. It involves a band that played just before them, and I don't want to say who it is because this guy should be in jail. This guy,
Ooh.
the lead singer of the band, is also good friends with Tim Lambesis from As I Lay Dying, right?
Okay.
And I know that because they're in music videos together, right? He's a big motherfucker, long hair.
Okay.
Obviously, probably on steroids because he's too big.
Okay.
And I confirmed that he's on steroids because one of our friends that was helping us unload, accidentally dropped the bass cab on their drummer's box that has, his in-ears and his sound. It's a big rollaway box.
Okay.
Anyway, it tapped the box and bent the little frame a little bit, right?
Okay.
Accident. Total accident. So the buddy that was with us that day left in fright, went home to not deal with it because this guy, the singer, saw it happen and immediately got in his face and was yelling at him, blah, 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 blah. And then they went on and played. And as soon as they got off stage, they went to come find the band responsible who dropped that shit on their box and bent it. Everyone left. I'm the only one there. I'm not the guy that dropped it. I'm just the guy that's in the band. And so he gets in my face and he's yelling at me and threatening to kick my ass.
Wow.
And getting this close to my face, begging for me to do something. Meanwhile, I have a tire iron in my hand because I just spent 15 minutes fixing this box for them. And I'm not even the guy that dropped it. I said, man, I'm sorry that happened. I can try to fix it for you.
Yeah.
I can get it to close for you. Now, we want money. That box is $350. You pay us $350. Like, dude, it was an accident. I'm not even the guy that dropped it, but I fix it for you.
Right.
I'm trying to bend it back in shape, and I got it to work. I fixed it. It's still a little bit bent, but it works. The function of it works.
Yeah.
And this guy was not pleased. He wanted to fight. He was in my face, screaming, flexing, and I had that tire iron in my hand, and all I had to do was just swing it at him, and it would have been over.
Right.
But I kept my cool, and I was like, smiled a little bit, and I shook my head. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing at me? Like, chill, man. Just get the fuck out of here. Like,
wow.
Second story. Could have been bad. It could have been bad.
That is a crazy predicament to be in. Wow. And then on top of that, you're trying to help out. Like, holy crap. Wow, man, that blows my mind. That's crazy. I mean, see, I don't know, man. I don't know why people feel like they need to come in and like judge the situation right away and then get in their mind like, oh yeah, I know what's going on here. And they don't, they assume, so much. Wow.
Pissed off and hot-headed. It had to be steroids. I mean, this dude was freaking huge, man. He was huge. And it had to have been roid rage. It just had to be because nobody gets that pissed off over something that dumb.
In all fairness, and I understand where you're coming from too, but you never know. That guy could have had a really bad day in the beginning. Who knows? Maybe his wife wanted a divorce that day. Maybe like he found out something crazy happened. I mean, maybe that was the straw that broke the camel's back. You never know, because I don't know. I run across a lot of people that will be like, yeah, I met so-and-so and he was just an asshole and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, do you know him? Like, have you seen them multiple times? And they're like, well, no, but I met him this one time and they were just total, like, just a dickhead to me. I'm like, they could have had a bad day, like we all are human. You could have actually met them on a really bad, if you've met them a few times and consistently they've just been that way, then yeah, you could say something like that. But you've met them one time, like, you know what I mean? Like, you just never know. They could have just had a bad day. But, you didn't know. I mean, people will be people.
I let it go. Fuck that guy.
Right.
1 year I spilt a beer on After the Burial's amp.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we opened up for After the Burial once in like 2012 or so, Oklahoma City. And I had a beer by the stage, and I was leaving the stage. We just got done playing, and my case knocked over the beer, and it spilt on this rack, and it turned out to be their guitar player's rack.
Oh, no.
Their tech was like, dude, that's the guitar player's rack. You better clean it up. Like, oh, shit. So I cleaned it up.
Jeez.
Yeah, like 5 minutes later, that guy, I think his name's Trent, their guitar player, he comes out. He's like, one of you guys spilled a beer on my rack. It's like, yeah, it was an accident. Like, man, that's $8,000 rack, man. You need to be more careful. It's like, I will. I'm sorry. I'm sure they hated us.
Did it work?
Yeah, no damage. It just spilt a little bit.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Those things aren't cheap, that's for sure, and plus, if that's your livelihood and that's all they're doing and they're on a tour, I don't know if they were in the beginning or towards the end of their tour, but yeah, man, that stuff gets kind of crazy sometimes. So
I'm totally in the wrong. I fucked up, man. That's a big mistake.
Yeah.
Guys in Perseus, they still don't let it down. They still remind me, like, Chris, don't spill a beer and all this shit. Like, I'm not gonna spill any beers.
Right. So I was on a gig, and I can tell you who I was with this time because it has nothing, there's no flaw or nothing. But I was on tour with Devil Driver, and we were doing a US tour, and we were playing a gig in Oregon. And it's a pretty good sized venue. And, I've had my fair share of fans that would jump on stage, and I'm just like, hey, you need to get off stage. And I'm very cool about it. I'm not like, raw, I'm going to grab you and shove you off the stage. And, I'm all about, hey, I want to make sure you guys are safe. And the main reasons we don't want them on stage, number one, obviously, I don't want anyone to get hurt. Because you might be up there, you may be totally sober. You may not know that there's cables running across underneath an ego riser with lighting that's right there, and you might trip over this cable, and then if you smash your head, guess what? There's a lawsuit. So my number one thing is to make sure people are safe. That was my biggest thing. And it doesn't matter if it's artists. I want to make sure the artist is safe. I want to make sure our fans are safe. I want everyone to be safe. That's literally all it is. And so I'll walk up to someone, and this guy particularly was drunk, and he's on stage. He's kind of got his arm around Dez, and Dez is kind of giving me that eye like, hey man, can we get this dude? And I go over there and I grab him, and he gets away from everybody, and he felt like he was just going to be like, cool, work with me. He wasn't too drunk to be like, blah, and just freak out. But I'm like, I don't know why I particularly remember this, but it's because it was crazy. So I'm bringing this guy in, and then all of a sudden he starts like mocking me by like walking away from me, and then starts running around circles around me on stage. Right then I was like, okay, now I need to put my hands on this dude, because he's gonna hurt himself or hurt someone around us. He's gonna knock into something. So I grab him, and as I'm pulling him off, he's like, what are you doing, man? And all of a sudden he pushes me, and I lost my balance. And he pushes me into a full stack, the head and everything. And I knocked this whole thing over, dude. Like bam during the show. And the guitar's just done. Like, bam, gone. And I'm just all like, right then, that's when I got angry. And he saw it and he just bolts. And I look at security, I'm like, get that guy right now. And he runs out the door, man. I just couldn't catch him. Guy was fast, not gonna lie. And he just bolts out the back door. And security is just like jumping, hurdling people in the back parking, like running after this guy. And I'm like picking myself up. And it was Neil, the guitar player, Neil for Devil Driver. He's just like, dude, my stuff. And I'm like, I know, man, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get this guy. We got it set back up and they continued. And luckily nothing was destroyed. There were some things that were kind of messed up, like the 1/4-inch plug. When it fell down, it like hit the head and kind of like made it all weird. And you know what I mean? It was small stuff, but it's still like everything. At the end of the day, everybody was safe. That guy got recognized and they banned him from the venue for life. Like, he can no longer go to any shows there ever again. They like have a permanent picture of his face like in the front of security. It's crazy, dude. So yeah, to me, that was the worst part of doing what I did, because I hated having to like handle someone like that, you know. And then at the same time, you know, I'd much rather see myself get hurt than anyone else get hurt. So luckily I was the only one that got thrown back, you know. And there's only one other time that happened to me when we were like in Belgium and I was out with Fear Factory and they had no freaking gates. Like, there were like no security gates or nothing. It was just like, here's the stage, people right there. And on top of it, there's no security. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. There's like 8,000 people here and there's no freaking like crowd control in the front. Like, this is going to be a nightmare. Sure enough, we got a drunk guy on stage, and luckily one of our friends that was on tour was with us. He's a big dude, because there's a big guy that got on stage. I don't think I could have handled him alone, but yeah, they got him off. And that was the only person that got on stage out of those 8,000 people with no gate or security in the front. It was crazy, man. Crazy. So let's start talking about Perseus. So how many do you guys have? You guys have an album out at all, or do you guys have just singles? What do you guys have right now that's out?
We have one full-length album called Rides.
Okay.
It is out on all platforms, and then we have 2 additional singles out.
Okay.
10,000 Scars or 10K Scars and Descent are both out right now.
Okay. Cool.
On the next one, working on a new intro, so
okay.
2 things we're working on right now.
Do you guys have any like future shows coming up at all? Like anything booked?
We're playing tomorrow night at 89th Street with Anti-Mortem, Archon, and Long Pig, I believe.
Okay.
Next Saturday, we're playing in Tulsa at the Vanguard, and we're headlining that show.
Nice.
A few Tulsa bands.
Okay. Cool. And so we were talking about member changes and things like that. Of course, like you know, there's certain things that you go through with a band, and you know, sometimes things don't work out, whether it be they just don't have time for it, or they could have some problems that are kind of like giving other people problems within the band. So with that being said, how many original members are in Perseus now?
2. Me,
2.
Jeremy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And how long has the band been around?
Oh, we started in 2008, and then we went on hiatus in 2012-ish, and we got back together in 2017.
Okay.
So we've been going strong since 2017.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that you guys are doing that. That's really awesome, man. So you picked up a endorsement deal with Solar. When did that come about?
Oh, 2021, just last year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I found solar guitars, just browsing YouTube, saw Ola on there, and I always seen this guitar on a lot of YouTube guitars videos. You always see this guitar recently,
Okay.
just because it's got these cutaways here in the close to the headstock.
Right.
Oh yeah, these little cutaways here. So I kept seeing it all over, and I was interested where you find one because I've never seen one around, and it turns out they're solar guitars. So I bought one. I bought this one first.
Okay.
So it's a 6-string baritone, and
Cool.
like the entry level baritone. And then I liked it so much that I got the artist series. So the artist series, it comes with Fishman Fluence pickups
Okay.
and hip shot bridge, push pull volume knob. It's neck through. It's got locking tuners and glow in the dark inlays.
Nice.
And that's when I saw the application to apply to be an endorsed artist, and I applied. And several questions about your band, how many followers you got, how many videos you got, and a small bio of yourself. And they accepted, or Ola's wife is the one that reviews it, and she accepted. So
Very cool. Nice. Well, congratulations on that, man. That's very cool, man, and well deserved. All right, guys, that was the interview with Chris Gomez. It was an absolute pleasure doing an interview with him. I appreciate you, Chris, for taking your time out of your day to be on my show. So if you guys want to know more about Chris and his band Perseus, I will have all those social links in the description below this video. So if you guys want to go check them out, they have tons of different links. I'm sure they would appreciate you stopping by. So thank you guys so much for sticking around. I appreciate it. Thank you for the support. And if you guys want to know any information about my socials, those will also be in the descriptions below. If you'd like to see these live, head on over to Facebook on my page at Jerry Lowlife Interviews. Give me a like and a follow, and you'll get notified every time I go live. At 7 p.m. Central Standard Time every Friday, I do some sort of interview with someone in the entertainment industry. Appreciate you guys. Have yourself a wonderful day.